Memory and communication. A crucial part of communication between human beings lies within similar parts of the brain that also house the information that we learn and the memories that we store. We communicate our thoughts, feelings, information learned, and memories to others on a daily basis. We communicate our memories to other people for many different reasons, whether we are telling memorable stories or warning others of danger from past experiences. Memory and communication have their role together and share similar brain functions and structures, leading researchers to believe that memory plays a bigger role in cortical, subcortical, and sensory processes. These similarities in communication and memory within the brain structure and its functions can be shown on cognitive, neurological, and physiological levels. The hippocampus, prefrontal cortex, and basolateral amygdala are three vital parts of the brain that help with communication and memory through different types of brain function. The brain functions that occur during communication are more closely related to those of language, dialogue, understanding, and retaining, such as the functions in Broca's area and Wernicke's area. These parts of the brain are located in the left hemisphere. Broca's area is closer to the prefrontal cortex, while Wernicke's area is in the left posterior superior temporal gyrus part of the brain. Broca's area has been proven to be directly linked to speech production. Broca's area is involved with processes in those who are bilingual or multilingual, hearing impaired individuals who use a specific or universal sign language, those who have speech impediments and disorders, and those with specific types of aphasia. Aphasia is a brain damage that impacts regions of our brain that deal with speech production and the ability to properly understand spoken language. Wernicke's area is responsible for articulation in speech as well as intonation. Articulation and intonation are extremely important in communication. Articulation of words allows for the brain to process and relay their meaning to the audience. Intonation of words also allows for the brain to process and relay messages to the brain, but the messages have more to do with the emotional part of speech. Intonation can relay sadness, happiness, anger, and more, and the brain can determine between the emotional side of the word as well as which words are more important and the meaning of them through articulation. Memories play a bigger role in connection and communication. Our brains have engram cells, or cells that acquire specific memories, that are formed within the prefrontal cortex and are stored within the hippocampus. Forming memories and storing memories have been discovered to happen simultaneously, despite what previous neurological research has stated. In the past, it has been theorized that short-term memories were stored in the hippocampus, while the long-term memories are stored in the prefrontal cortex. However, more recent theories have shown that since the forming and storage of memories happens simultaneously, the storage of long-term memories and short-term memories both occur in the hippocampus, with long-term memories taking about 2 or so weeks to fully develop and become a true long-term memory. New studies have shown that, quote, neuroscience on a more concrete level explains that memory is related to the strength of neural synapses. This current understanding is based on the work of E. Kandel, who discovered a particular kind of neuron, modulatory neurons, which can strengthen the synapses between sensory and motor neurons. Modulatory neurons carry out a chemical process that adds a phosphate molecule. This phosphorylation delays the connection between sensory and motor neurons from disappearing, strengthening their connection, and making their future connections easier. When phosphorylation is temporary, it produces short-term memory. When it is stable, because genes induced, it produced long-term memory. This depends primarily on the number of times the modulatory neurons repeat the process, which in turn depends on the number of times the action triggering the modulatory neuron is repeated, unquote. This being said, memory, both long-term and short-term, are integral pieces of connection between people. Information or experiences that we have encountered are stored away for our own future use or for the future use of others. We remember events throughout our day that we later relate to friends or family, whether it be normal work talk or a story about witnessing a car accident. These memories are conveyed during conversation to others who create a memory of the account or story in their own mind. Everybody's memory eventually becomes the memory of other people, and so on and so forth. While memorable stories can be detailed, seemingly dotting all I's and crossing all T's, memory can also be flawed. Recent studies have shown that memory is a purely functional process and not necessarily as truthful as people would like to think. Oftentimes we think that we remember all the details of a story, yet the information that is stored can come up flawed. In conclusion, the hippocampus, prefrontal cortex, and basolateral amygdala are sections within the structure of the brain that are functional for intake and storage of information that is turned into short-term and long-term memories, as well as speech production and understanding. Memory and communication are more closely linked than many people even realize, and not just through specific brain structures and functions. Memories are the information that our brain deems necessary to store for our own use in the future or for future use by others. Storytelling, the passing down of memories, warning others of danger, and the need for precaution or protection are just a few examples of how memory and communication go hand in hand. In short, memory and communication are vital components of human connection and even survival.